I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. We have State Representative Jennifer Johnston with us today.
With a T.
A new Johnston with a T, with a new comer to Juneau from District 28 in Anchorage. That's the South Anchorage Hillside District.
Right.
So Jennifer,
To
welcome.
Portage.
To Portage.
Right.
Long distance.
Yep.
Jennifer, welcome to Juneau. And maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself and your background and why you decided to do this, to come down here and help fix our problem.
Actually, over 10 or so years ago, I ran for assembly in Anchorage, and I was raised that you had to participate in the public process. That I had a strong background in that, so I knew at some point that I would step up somehow. If it was, I've been on a number of boards, but at some point maybe you have to get from a point of where you're talking about all the problems, and you and I both have talked about our fiscal problems for 40 years, and saying somebody should do something about it, or saying, okay, I'm going to try to do something about it. And that was why I ran for assembly. I thought if I could be part of a process that got the largest city fiscally sustainable, then that was a start to get the state on a fiscally sustainable path. And I did 9 years, termed out. I love term limits. I think they're wonderful. And folks asked me when Representative Hawker decided to retire to run. And I had to think long and hard about it because, when you're on the assembly, you can go home to your own bed at night. And you can't when you're in the legislature. But again, it's a case, and I'm not sure if I'm the right person to be part of the solutions, but I feel that it's our public responsibility to try.
Jennifer, what is your professional background?
I like to say I'm a generalist. I've done, as an Alaskan, I've done a lot of things. I've worked banks. I was the issue advocate at the Alliance for ANWR. I actually worked at one point with State Senator Betty Fahrenkamp. Both my husband and I have somewhat of a financial background. Alan, as you probably know, is very active in the Angel Fund Network, and I am through association.
This is encouraging young entrepreneurs.
This is not even young entrepreneurs. It's just getting entrepreneurial and innovation projects going in Alaska, and with seasoned veterans helping. That's what the Angel part is. So it's capital to help people establish new companies. I've also been a guide, and I've had my own guiding business.
Wow.
A generalist.
When you were guiding, where did you guide?
I guided mainly in the Chugach, but I would do an annual trip up in the Alaska Range and what was the Pika Glacier, Little Switzerland. Yeah. And then I've also, started the program, and it's now turned to a much bigger thing of bringing skiing to the Arctic Northwest and to villages.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, that started because I was Norman Vaughn's Antarctic expedition manager. I told you.
Did you go with him?
I was headed to Punta Arenas, to the staging area, when they had the crash out in Antarctica. So I never got out of Dodge. I had to do all the cleanup work.
Well, Norman Vaughn was famous for that. What age was he when he did that?
He was 92, 93.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah. And actually there ended up being a book written about he and my daughter, because our daughter and I, when we climbed Denali, she was the youngest to climb Denali, so, it's...
So mother and daughter climbed Denali together?
Yeah, I like to say we're the youngest mother-daughter team. But anyways, so there was a book with Norman on one side and Merrick's on the other.
Boy, what an amazing, varied background. I mean, what a great varied background to bring here to Juneau. Let me ask, when you were on the campaign trail, you obviously did a lot of door-to-door and talking to constituents. What were people saying to you?
I think everybody's ready for a solution.
To the physical
To the
issue.
fiscal, yeah. And politics is never pretty. I think folks, though, are getting frustrated that it's taking so long.
It's a complicated problem.
It is a complicated problem. And, there will never be a right answer. And I think sometimes we have to, that's one of the problems with politics, is that we spend too much time looking for the absolute perfect answer, and maybe getting close to it is sometimes a better thing to do.
And
In other
not
words-
making a decision also tends to make the problem worse.
It makes the problem worse, because then what you've really done is you're just starting to divide the issues, divide the constituency, so it polarizes things as you extend the length of the discussion.
Yeah. What did you learn anything new from your constituents that you had? I mean, in terms of what their concerns were that you weren't aware of before? Of course, did you represent that area?
Right.
In the assembly?
As on the assembly, I actually had 3 House districts.
Yeah.
So it's it wasn't a huge surprise. This is 1/3 of my assembly district, and it's it's Upper Hillside, and it's down to I've worked with the Seward Highway for a long time. Girdwood's my people. Portage, a couple families down there. Indian Bird.
Yeah, the Girdwood community is in your district.
Yeah. So it's I can't say I heard any huge surprises.
Yeah.
But it's a great district. I'm proud to represent them. I hope that I can represent them well, and if I don't, I hope they find somebody that can.
Well, Jennifer, thanks for coming down with us. Thanks for joining us. And I'm Tim Bradner. Thanks for being with us on Capitol Views.